Fair use and content disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily reflect that of the Psychological Association of the Philippines and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions expressed by the guests do not necessarily reflect that of the host, the show, and the organization. Fair use is the copyright regulation that allows the limited use of copyrighted materials without acquiring permission from the right holders for comment and educational purposes. Views, articles, and images on this episode may contain copyrighted material which has not always been specifically authorized by the copyright owner.
This is being broadcasted to the Teaching Psychology Special Interest Group's social media platforms, when available. If you have any questions for our guests, simply comment on this video and we will try to accommodate all your inquiries. Note that after this broadcast, we may no longer be able to answer your questions. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Live from the Philippines, Dr. Ver Reyes and Professor Monique Muyargas, Chairperson and Co-Chairperson of the Teaching Psychology SIG.
Hey! Oh, ganda! Tara! Pa-earrings!
Gusto mo mag-party. Oo. Hi, Monique.
Hello, my dear.
Belated happy birthday. Hindi natapos. Birthday week mo pala to. Lakas Kuya Germ. Walang. Ay, nako. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our afternoon. Ano ba to? Afternoon webisode.
Afternoon delight.
Yes, afternoon delight. Yan ang gusto ng tawag ni Monique, na afternoon delight. At syempre, pa off-shoulder ang lola mo. Kasi, mo naman, wala kang masyadong mapakita. But anyway, if you're new to our channel, or if you're new subscriber, and you like this webisode, please don't forget to like our pages shown here and also our channel. Hit subscribe and follow us on our in all other social media platforms. Ayan.
Yan.
So, yon. So, how was everything yesterday? Masaya ka naman sa iyong birthday?
Yeah, masaya ako dahil sa assessment.
Oo. So,
Ganda yun, di ba?
Correct. If they forgot to, or if they missed that webisode, they can go back to our timeline or to our YouTube channel and go back to some of our replays for that particular episode. But before that, let's say hello to our friends in Dumaguete City. Ayan, maraming salamat.
Hello.
Also from Negros Occidental. Ayan, good afternoon sa inyong lahat. Again, from our friends in DMMSU in La Union. Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon. Meron din tayo from Binyan City, Laguna. Ayan. At may nag-hello kay Sir Kintanar. Bakit ba niyo hine-hello? Pero hello na from Legazpi. Maraming salamat sa inyo. No? So, good afternoon everyone. Meron din from Polompon, Leyte. Also from Cebu. So, yung mga subscribers natin abroad, if you are watching, please comment down below kung ano yung areas where you're watching right now. We also have people from Cagayan de Oro City. Maraming salamat. Welcome. Again from La Union. Ayan. So, ulitin lang natin, if you're new to our show, we do not give webisode certificates. Kasi baka may mga nagtatanong pa rin kung meron ba tayong pa-certificates. Wala po.
Wala po kami certificates.
Correct. Wala tayong masyadong mga ganyan-ganyang certificates. But you can always go back to this webisode, feel free to share the things that you've learned here, and sana makatulong ito sa inyo. So, hello from
Misamis Oriental.
At saka sino pa to? From the city of Golden Friendship. Bacolod?
Hindi.
Ano ba?
Saan naman?
Baka CDO. Sunday
ba
pa
yun?
comment kung ano yon kasi medyo hindi namin sure. Quiz
It's
pala.
a learning experience kasi bago ko lang narinig yan.
Oo. From Cavite also, hello. Meron din tayo from Calamba, Laguna. At meron din tayo from Taguig City University. Ayan. Also, sa tama nga ako, CDO.
CDO. Okay. Now I learned something new. Diba?
At least, see, we always learn something new pag may webisodes na ganito. Kaya, share nyo na sa inyong mga friends, sa inyong mga relatives, and if you miss at meron kayong mga naka-schedule na ngayon, balikan nyo na lang ulit ito.
Yan.
Ayan. Sabi niya, even with no certificate, I always enjoy listening to you. Yes. Malapit na rin po kami sa Spotify at magpa-podcast.
Oy, gusto ko yan, yung podcast na yan.
Yes. Ayan, sinagot ni si Sunday. Yes, CDO.
Thank you, Sunday.
I think may prize tayo dyan. Okay, so, bakit ba tayo nandito ngayon, Monique? Sorry, maingay yung, earrings. Go. Bakit ba tayo nandito this afternoon? Ano ba yung...
Oo, kasi the topic this afternoon is technically medyo bago siya, no? I don't think many schools offer this course, no? And it's a good opportunity for those who are revising their curriculum or trying to come up with some electives. This is a very, very good topic, and it's very timely, and I think this is what we need at this point, diba?
Correct.
So, kailangan nating ma-learn ang ganitong field or area of psychology, which is quite new for some of us, no?
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so without further ado, muli ipakilala na natin yung ating special guest for this afternoon.
Very special guest ito kasi matagal na tong perfect ang kanyang parang siya yung perfect person talaga to do this. I think he's the one who introduced us to this particular field, no, of psychology. And our special guest, our resource person for this afternoon is actually nagkaabutan pa kami ata dito sa Ateneo when we had our masters, no? So he finished his master's degree in psychology, major in counseling psychology in Ateneo de Manila University. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, tama ba? University of San Carlos, Cebu City.
Yes, correct. Oo.
Okay.
Cebu,
pero
Cebu,
gusto ko yung kanyang gusto ko yung kanyang description sa kanyang CV.
Mm-mm.
May
Ano
top
ba?
5 talents. May top 5 talents daw siya.
Okay.
Empathy, communication, maximizer, positivity of course, pero yung pinakagusto ko sa lahat, Woo.
Ano
Winning others over. Oh,
Ah,
diba?
pero ako gusto
Okay.
ko yung maximizer. Parang masayang mag-maximize. Diba? Dax. Taga-Dax. Yun yung Tagalog term ng maximize.
Talaga? Okay.
Yan.
So without further ado, papasukin na siya natin. Our dear friend, our lovable friend, Professor Niel Kintanar.
Yay!
Ano ba? Hi!
Ayun!
Natawa ko sa Dax. Talaga naman maximizer ako.
Maximizer
Second thing
ka.
I learned today.
Oh, Dax, in fairness.
Ilagay mo nga yung tamang spelling sa baba.
Ay, later na.
Tama na na. Siyempre, Dax ang puso, Dax ang utak. Siyempre.
Yes, oo. Oo, ayaw natin.
Hindi ko alam, but happy birthday!
Yes. Kahapon pa yon. Pero thank you.
Oo nga eh.
Yes.
Okay.
Alam mo, special friend natin talaga tong si Sir Niel Kintanar, no? Kasi parang we go way, way, way back. And
Yes.
Way back.
as in way, way back. And a very good friend of the SIG, actually. No? So,
Yeah.
we're very happy that na pinaunlakan mo kami. Oh, ang
Thank
lalim na.
you.
Ang lalim na ng Tagalog mo. Kasi
Hoy, wag pa ha.
ako.
Nag-earrings yan dahil sa'yo, Neil.
Necklace ako.
Nag-earrings, nag-necklace, tsaka nag-off-shoulder.
Oh.
Special ka.
Correct. Kasi season 2 na tayo. So dahil doon, maraming salamat. How are you, Neil, in Cebu? Kamusta kayo?
Oh my God! Naghihintay kung ano yung status namin mamaya, no? Kung GCQ or ECQ pa ba? But I will not be surprised if it will be ECQ. So I learned how to cope being at home, exercising, doing online classes. I have summer class right now, so
Online shopping.
and online shopping, yes, you're correct.
Yes. Oo. But we're very happy that you're safe and your loved ones are safe. And we all at the Teaching Psychology Special Interest Group wish Cebu City and all the rest of the Filipinos worldwide to be safe. Oo.
Yes.
In fairness, Filipinos worldwide. Alam mo, magiging tagline na natin to. In the fairness of Filipino teachers worldwide.
Oh, yeah. Yun na lang yung tagline natin. Exciting.
Tanungin natin yung mga viewers natin. Baka meron kayong gustong tagline. Comment nyo sa baba. parang, keep on watching TPSIG TV in the service of Filipinos worldwide.
Filipino teachers worldwide.
Yes, oo. So, hello kay Susan Militar. Ay, kapitbahay ko lang siya in Marikina City. Hello po, Miss Monique. Hello man yung aming guest. Ay, kasi baka hindi pa niya nakikita. Just to inform everyone, we are medyo delayed tayo ng 20 seconds. So just in case then si Sir Neil ay meron pang mga pakulo later. Yun lang, may 20 second delay tayo for our viewers. But again, thank you so much, Sir Neil.
I'm excited. Thank you, of course, for inviting me over. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. Miss ko na din kayo.
Yes. Okay, so that wraps up our episode for this.
Okay, go.
Thank you na kagad tayo. Hindi, pero sige, Monique, baka meron kang mga itatanong pa kay Neil.
Okay.
Well, I prepare some of the material.
Sure. Okay. Ayan.
Hi,
Hi Neil, hi again. Okay, baka magwo-wonder yung ating mga viewers this afternoon. Why positive psychology? Bakit why is it so important to take it on as a course? Right.
So, importante siya because it looks like it looks at the other side of the coin, no? For the history of psychology, really, ano yung mga 3 goals ng psychology? It was number 1, to cure mental illness. Number 2, to study about creativity and excellence. And number 3 is to make people's lives happier. And then, for the past, before 1999, before Martin Seligman gave that gave that talk when he was the president of the American Psychological Association. The focus of psychology was really on the curing mental illness, and they forgot the other two goals, of studying creativity and excellence, and then making lives people happier. So in 1999, Martin Seligman was the president of the American Psychological Association. He made it a point to study about prevention, to study about what makes us good, what makes us happy, and then eventually what makes us flourish. Okay? And I know na itong subject na to, positive psychology, wala pa masyadong mga schools that gives it a subject talaga mismo, but it is a good elective course. It's a good for seminar in psychology course. In the University of San Carlos, I'm proud to say that it is in the undergraduate program, positive psychology, with our new curriculum. It is in the MA program as a core curriculum. And then this first semester, I was successful in applying to the general education as an elective for the University of San Carlos students. So happiness and well-being is an elective already. So, and of course, we are in a pandemic right now. So
true. This is what we need.
Yeah, we need the skills of well-being and mental health. We need it. Our students need it. Our neighbors, our family needs it. Our citizens, our community needs it. Yes.
And I'm sure our audience, our viewers will be very interested to learn from this afternoon's talk from you. Kasi I think there'll be, usually kasi yung courses ng psychology deals with, yung nga sinabi mo, yung the darker side of psychology.
Right.
So this is it's actually very refreshing to do. And probably if those of you who are part of the curriculum revision or the curriculum design ng inyong psychology program, I think it would be good to incorporate this, or probably pwede rin bang i-insert siya in other courses in psychology?
Well, kung wala pa namang subject talaga, pwede naman talaga, because positive psychology is really a perspective. Okay? Hindi lang naman siya isang theory, no? So perspective talaga siya. So for example, for developmental psychology, we can add on yung mga positive instances that promotes flourishing and well-being to growth in the lifespan. Okay? So pwede 'yon, 'di ba? In organizational psychology, pwede talagang meron tayong section on mga variables na positive psychology related, how to build a positive culture in the workplace. No? I've always said this, that when someone leaves the company, we'd always ask them why are they leaving? Okay? But we never ask those people who also stayed in the company for a long time. So appreciative inquiry is a positive psychology method, and it's been done in companies. Okay? And then also even for assessment. No? So for assessment component, we'd always diagnose the mental illness. Okay? Meron ding diagnosis ang mental health. Okay? So, ayan, and then one last in therapy. Okay? So positive psychotherapy and intervention is a section in positive psychology, and usually in therapy we remove the weeds. We teach them about we disable the negative internal conditions of people, but we need to plant also what are good things, the strength. We need to build that up to our clients. So yan, no, pwede talaga siya in across the different subjects in psychology.
Okay. That's pretty interesting, and I'm sure excited ang ating viewers. Nasaan na ang ating PowerPoint, Madam Ver? There you go. So I won't get in your way. You can start it off, Niel. Go ahead.
Right. So teaching positive psychology during the new normal. So of course, no, I'm also kinakapako din to ngayon because sabay-sabay naman tayong nag-pandemic. So initially naman talaga face-to-face yung interaction. But currently, I am teaching my master's program with the Divine Word from Legazpi. and some of them are watching right now. So, ayan, so nagta-trial ako, nagta-test run din ako with them, no? So, and so next slide, please. But first, before moving on, meron lang akong a social distancing mental health check-in among the participants, no? So, drop your heart color and let us know how you are doing, diba? If it's a red, you're doing good, no? And then orange, I'm okay. A yellow, I'm okay-ish. A green, I'm coping. Blue, I'm struggling. And then a violet or purple, I'm having a hard time and wouldn't mind if someone reached out to me. And then a black is that you're in a bad place right now. Okay? So ako naman, I would say that I am doing good right now. Okay? Good is different from flourishing. Okay? I feel lang na hindi pa ako totally flourishing right now because of the environmental component. My autonomy is, my movement is curtailed, and I'm still coping with this one. Every 15th, no, from my heart leaps if, GCQ na ba? I do really hope na GCQ, but I also acknowledge na baka hirap pa talaga, no? But yung mga ganyan, how far are we going back to what we're used to, like face-to-face interaction? So, yeah, and so I can see, there are purple,
Ayan, marami na.
red, right.
Red, I'm doing good.
Yes. So,
Yan.
kung hindi mahanap, okay lang i-type in, but actually, usually, nasa phone yan, no? So, nasa emojis.
Ayan.
Yeah, so, ngayon, mahilig na ako sa mga ganito, sending emojis to during classes, no? That's, ganun na ang feedbacking, no? Yeah, so, maraming green na they are coping, they're doing well. Okay, good. So, whatever state you are in, if you are in the purple, maybe this will be a time that you can also check your psychological resources when you listen to us, okay? Or there might be people watching who can help, no? Can give support, okay? And if you are a red, I'm doing really good. This might affirm, okay, what you are successful in doing, no? Regarding our mental health during the pandemic. So if you're yellow, how can we move to an orange? Okay. Although this episode will not really talk more about the contents of positive psychology. I had a talk already with the positive psychology special interest group, but here
Yes.
more of the teaching. What are the contents? How do we do it? So I'll just refer you to that talk. Okay. Yeah. So good. Thank you very much for your
Maximum
comment.
participation. Maximize ka talaga, Neil. I love it.
So good. So next slide, please. So and then one click more. So James O. Powelski said, I have this thinking activity that James Powelski, the director of University of Penn, nandun yung Masters in Applied Positive Psychology. And he said this thinking activity, if you are a superhero, which color of the cape will you want to wear? A red cape or a green cape? Okay? And then you can type in, the red cape is the power to fight the things in the world that you don't want. Poverty, injustice, hunger, violence, COVID. Yun yung the green cape, you will be the superhero who had the power to fight the things in the world that we do want. Okay? Understanding, peace, justice, love. Okay? So what kind of superhero would you be? Would you be in the green cape? Oh, yes, I would be in a green cape. Okay?
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. Green cape for the win, no? Si Suarez.
Suarez, right.
Yes. So, yan. And I think ngayon marami talagang magsasabi ng green cape because the topic is really positive psychology, and I think that is what positive psychology is all about. So next slide, please. So and then double click na lang din. So what is the difference between the red cape and then the green cape? So the red cape really eradicates evil, fight bad things, curing diseases. And if we put it into psychology, in counseling and therapy mismo, it's about diagnosing and treating mental illnesses. It's refuting cognitive distortions or the automatic negative thoughts or ants. It is fixing what is wrong. It is all about negative emotions and experiences and the importance of it and how do we cope. Okay? The green side, on the other hand, it promotes good things. It grows good things. It promotes health. So if you are a green caper superhero, it is when you cultivate mental health factors, you identify and you use strength and positive psychological capital. Okay? You nurture what is best in us, and you study positive emotion and its experiences and its effects and benefits, and you use positive interventions and activities. Okay? So next slide, please. So meron bang mas magaling nito? Okay? Sabi ni Powelski na actually both are good. We must have a reversible cape. Okay? This reversible cape is to be able to identify, our goal is to be able to identify when to use appropriately the red or the green side of the cape and use it effectively by reversing the cape when necessary. And that is important to flourishing. Okay? So during the pandemic right now, the initial reaction of people, my initial reaction, okay, I was depressed, I was sad, not clinical depressed, but I was sad that my movement is curtailed. I was anxious, I was fearful of the next day. I was angry, okay, angry at the government, angry to what is happening to some people, even to some of my neighbors. So that is the red cape. Okay? That is the red cape. So that red cape is very important because I'm not denying it, but I had to experience it. In fact, it took me about a month to be able to get out of that. Okay? I did not have any positive psychology talk. I said, no, I'm not ready. I don't think I don't know what to advise, if ever, or kasi I'm angry, I was tired, but I do watch. My coping was watching Netflix. At that time, I had Chloe and Money Heist. Yun yung naubos ko. Okay? That was the red cape, and it was important for me. Okay? But after a month, I started creating small goals about what to do. So I started with, okay, I wanted to clean my closet. I wanted to practice commitment and then improve on my physical health. So I did jumping rope. Okay? So eventually I started to use the other side of the cape, the green side of the cape. Okay? And now, sunod-sunod ang mga invitation for talks and Zoom meetings, and I'm even handling class. I am sort of thriving already. Thriving. Okay, so yun. So for us to really flourish, it's important to understand the green side and the red side. Okay, so next please. So, Martin Seligman really said that psychology now focuses on both the prevention of illnesses and the promotion of well-being of all humans. So enter please. So yes, there was a movement, no? So ito yung, diba, if you look at it, the prevention of illnesses really talks about, or talking about mental illnesses, it's really abnormal psychology. Right? So if we have abnormal psychology, maganda siguro like sa opposite side, we also have positive psychology with it. Okay? So mental illness in one side, factors of mental health in the other side. So that is why I really advocate to put positive psychology in the curriculum right now. Kasi yun nga, it balances the scale.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so next please. So Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, said that psychology is not just a study of weakness and damage. It is also the study of strength and virtue. Treatment is not just fixing what is broken. It is also nurturing what is best in us. It is not enough to remove the internal disabling conditions in life. We must develop, cultivate, build, strengthen the enabling conditions in life too. Now, si Martin Seligman, if you therapist actually to siya. No? Yung mga first research niya was on learned helplessness and depression. Diba? Siya yung sabi ng theory na depression can be about people learning that they're helpless. Okay? And then when he did that among his clients, sabi niya may kulang. There's something missing. I need to teach my clients to be optimistic. That's why he also developed the learned optimism. Okay? So that's a part of cultivating. Okay? So hindi kulang ang removing the weeds. Next please, next slide. Kailangan natin to plant the seeds also. Okay? So yun yung what is positive psychology all about. So next slide. So, Sino Martin Seligman said that, positive education is really both teaching skills of achievement and skills of well-being. Okay? So, at the department at the University of San Carlos, we really made it a point that these are our two main goals, no? So, competence and excellence. So, what does that mean? So, we will teach our students to be excellent in TOP, excellent in research, excellent in theories and skills. So that they will be top-notchers in the board exam. Diba? Yun yung skills of achievement measured by being a top-notcher sa board exam. They will be hired by big companies, top companies. So marami sa atin nandun. We are doing that. Okay? But we also have to teach them skills of well-being. Okay? So, values. No? Yung values education hanggang grade school lang yata. And I'm not sure if in public school may values education pa ba. Kasi somehow values linked to religion, ganyan, di ba?
Yes.
Religion, theology. So we also need to develop skills of well-being, like optimism, like subjects on good relationships, how to maintain good relationships, subjects on how to forgive. No? So, yes, before positive psychology, we had courses. We identified courses where we can actually insert the skills of well-being. So we have a well-being program in the University of San Carlos when I was assistant chair at that time. And then I was the head of the well-being program. So so for example, personality. Okay? In a personality, meron kaming one-day seminar. So freshman, we had the orientation, right? So before we enter the orientation, we have the orientation and we have a friendship day. Okay? That's 1 day of group dynamics and it's also for group dynamics students to facilitate the freshmen. So nandun ang friendship, nandun ang we talk about goals, we talk about fun. Okay? So nandun siya sa skills of well-being. So 1 day yon. So 1 day din pag second year nila may personality sila, meron din kaming program doon about finding their true self, identifying their strength. Okay? So yan. Pag third year, meron kaming counseling and guidance sa class. So they have 2 nights yata yun or no, 2 days 1 night na program. Okay, we call it the road less travel. So we teach them how to spot strength. We teach them about mental health. Okay? So yun yung third year. So fourth year, meron silang retreat. Okay? So hand in hand naman yan with the campus ministry sa amin. So we manage the program.
Yes.
So we talk about spirituality, we talk about gratitude, we talk about their purpose, looking at their narrative, no, from first year to fourth year, ano kaya ang possible purpose nila. So yun yung mga meron kaming well-being program na nilagay sa aming positive education component. Okay? So, yan, importante din yan. No? And when I was the head of the Office of Student Affairs for 2 years, ganun din yun. Yung skills of well-being, nandun din yung skills of leadership, no? So importante din 'yon. So I talk about that to the admin. So yeah, so that is actually one of my advocacies, and hopefully you can do it in your schools.
Yeah.
So next slide, please. So how did it really start? No? So it really started with I saw a book from a shelf called Psychology of Hope, and by C.R. Snyder, and I was supposed to write. I wrote a research paper using hope and attachment. Okay, so under my advanced personality class, no? So that really started it. So and then I started reading that, and then eventually I read another topic, and then it was fun. It was easy to read. So when I returned after my master's program, I returned to the University of San Carlos. I just really started as a special topic. So I started it in the master's program. Now, okay, this is a special topics. Since I'm also interested in this one, I want to teach positive psychology. Okay, and then there's a change of curriculum. We propose it. It is part already of the core curriculum. And then undergraduate program, it's part of an elective again. And then, or a special topics. And then change of curriculum, we added it and so on. So that was really the start. Okay, so it was fun. It was easy. It was fun to tell students, hey, can you practice being grateful for this week, right? So can you practice being optimistic and hopeful for the next week? Okay? So it was fun also for them to do. No, unlike would say, hey, can you be schizophrenic this week or this week? Pero, di ba, hindi siya magawang experiential yung activity. But in positive psychology, talagang experiential, you have to do it. So in a sense, me teaching it was transformative also to me. No? So, syempre, I have tips, di ba? I read that these are the tips that you should do, appreciate, acknowledge, and then amplify, the 3 A's. No? So, syempre, gagawin ko din yan, i-practice ko din yan. So, somehow, it was really transformative to me. And then, it was also transformative to their students. And then, it is just a calling. I do say that, positive psychology was just a calling. And we know the difference between a job, a career, and calling, right? So, yun, nagiging calling ng talaga ang positive psychology. Okay, so next slide, please. So, in the next few slides, really I will talk about what is the content, what are its objectives, what is a typical flow of my class, how about the attitude towards teaching it, or the attitude of students. What activities can be done online with students? And what are specific online platforms to support our teaching positive psychology? Okay? So, I know, nasa personality, iba ako magturo ng positive psychology. Talagang, I have the heart, I have the zest, yung strength ko, maximizer, positivity. I'm really playing on my strength. So, it might be very difficult if you copy me. And I understand it. Ngayon, marami ng positive psychology classes in the University of San Carlos. A lot of them are my students. So, they don't need to copy. And some of them are watching actually. Sabi ko, hoy, manood kayo. So, next slide. So, what will be next will be some books. So, Positive Psychology, The Science of Happiness and Flourishing. This is by Compton and Hoffman. This is actually found in Mind Movers. They have a reprinted copy on this one. So, but of course, you can also download these books in our favorite places to download books. So, if you look at it, so pwede naman talagang sumunod kayo. This is a good undergraduate book. Pwede nyong choose kayo ng mga, let's say, 6 to 8 topics that you want to discuss. And nandyan na yung So it's very easy for undergrads to look at it. Very Gen Psych nga yung dating. Okay. So pwede. This is a good book. Now, next slide. So, there are two books that I also love. Ito naman very article-based sila. So, I think some graduate students can actually read this one. No? So, next slide, please. The Handbook of Positive Psychology. So, hindi masyadong kita, no? But here, marami tayong mga emotion-focused. So, introduction of what is positive psychology, and then identifying strength, tapos emotion-focused approaches, cognitive approaches, no? And next down, please. Self-based, interpersonal approaches. Ayan. So, biological approaches, specific coping approaches, special population and setting. Okay? So, pipili ka na lang kung ano ba talagang gusto mong mga topic. So, ako, suggestion ko, play on your strength. Okay? Play on your strength. So, marami yan. So, it can be downloaded also in our favorite places to download books. And then, ito yung positive psychology also. So from so yun yung mga topics natin, diba? So looking up from a different perspective, in context, positive emotional states, positive cognitive states, pro-social behavior. Okay. And then next. And then one of my favorite activities for teaching positive psychology. The APA was the one who printed this one. I haven't seen it in our favorite place where you download books, but our library sort of bought this one also. So I know the content. So that was good. So you see, meron tayong conceptual explorations. Okay? And look at the topics: courage, humility, work, eudaimonia, spirituality, purpose. Next, please. And then the second one are the experiments. So you can conduct mini experiments with them. And then self-reflections. Okay. So I think this is a very good book, no, for you. Okay. So next slide, please. But my bias. So ako, syempre, since 2010, I've been creating the way I positive psychology. So iba ako di ko finalo yon, di ba? So I'm getting parts from different aspects of the book. And then really the model I use is actually the PERMA V model by Martin Seligman. So positivity. So how is my syllabus will look like? It is really talking about PERMA V. So after talking about mental health, I'll talk about positivity. And then different articles inside. And then engagement, different articles inside. Ganun yung bias ko. Okay, so next slide, please. So this session, I will not talk about PERMA V because I've done that already. So you can go to PAP, Positive Psychology Special Interest Group naman to watch. And I'm sure it's still there. It's still there. So the content about it. Okay, so next slide, please. So course description. So I'm placing it there. Don't worry. You don't need to copy. At the end of the presentation, I have a link there where you can download this PowerPoint slide. So may nag-comment sa akin na masyado daw mahaba, masyadong maarte, masyadong drama. Well, ganyan talaga ako eh. So okay lang yan. Dinedma ko yung when I propose it. So, it's too long. It should be direct to the point. Kev, saan mo nagtuturo eh? Because storyteller ako eh. Ganyan ako na teacher. So, what makes people happy or unhappy? How do we measure happiness? What concrete steps can we take to make ourselves happier? Better yet, what makes a good, meaningful, and flourishing life? These are very interesting questions. And so on. So psychology is not the study of human weakness and damage. It's also a study of strength, optimism, happiness, and hope and resilience. The subject explores how science can provide insights into the nature of happiness and well-being. It engages students to practical strategies for tapping into and nurturing their own happiness. It includes weekly activities that foster social and emotional well-being and enable students to observe and measure their own happiness along the way as they grow into a healthy and well-rounded individual. Okay?
So if they clarify their own values and their own biases, they can make their own course description. It does not necessarily have to be yours.
Yes, of course. No?
Yeah.
Hindi naman talaga.
Mhm.
So, in fact, diba, the department will always give us a generic course description, and then
Yes.
we modify it according to our
Mhm.
personality. No?
Mhm.
The good thing about positive psychology is that it is not a board exam subject.
Yun, ang galing.
At hindi siya board exam subject, syempre, you can be student-centered, di ka content-centered, kasi
Yes.
iba, kapag personality, assessment, careful tayo eh. Kailangan maturo natin yung mga bagay na lalabas sa board exam.
May specifications di ba?
Right. So, ito talaga, there's a lot of free space to do it. Okay? So, next slide, please. So, in the end, define the objectives, or that students will define, familiarize, understand, differentiate constructs, theories, and research about and related to happiness and well-being. I use the Seligman's theory of well-being. So students will be able to give examples, personal examples in each element, learn strategies to increase their happiness and overall quality of life, and then experience and report a stable increase in happiness and well-being as a result of practicing the happiness and well-being inducing techniques discussed in class and in the readings. And is measured through different psychological assessments like questionnaires, shares in groups and journals. And then meron ako mga asterisk, no? Kasi ang hirap daw kasing i-measure yan sa objectives kapag ano. So, tinatago ko yan, but personally, yun yung gusto kong ma-achieve. No? To discuss and enumerate how well-being is an important agenda. Yung number 4, pwedeng makaabot, pwede din hindi.
Yeah.
Okay? Important agenda in organization, school, communities, neuroscience, and health and economics. And then 5 and 6, yun yung very personal. Of course, to develop good social bonds among classmates and develop a curiosity and interest for positive psychology. So yun lang, since hindi siya board exam subjects, ang goal ko lang talaga is that they are very interested, that they will look into it. No, they don't need me anymore, but they would look into it on their own. So in the master's program, when there were classmates in positive psychology, most often than not, sila yung magkakabarkada. And that barkada is very helpful in surviving school. Diba? Lalo na sa master's program. So, yun yung good social bonds din. Kasi nag-share sila among each other. Okay? So, next slide please. So, here makikita natin ang specific content and specific learning objectives. So, ano yung mga course, ano yung mga topics talaga na i-discuss natin. So, I would start with the introduction of mental health and well-being, how that there's a shift from mental illness to mental health, and focus on mental health, and the optimal mental health is called flourishing. So, and then introduce PERMA V as one way to flourish. Okay, so yun yung start. And then next is that since I introduced PERMA V, i-discuss to one by one and give examples what PERMA V is. And then we'll also talk about the different models already of mental health. Like Ginhawa is also a model that we Filipinos use, no? From UP. So, yan, papasok siya, but as another model. So, and then if they can also create their own models if they want, no? A personal theory of models, no? And then eventually they are confident of their own mental health research. Kasi part of the discussion is really looking at themselves. Kapag, positive ba ako? How is my positivity ratio? Ganyan. What are the things that I enjoy doing? Ganyan. How are my relationships? Ganyan. So yun. And then next, ayan na, unti-unti na akong mag-talk about each component. So a big part of the curriculum talks about the pleasant life. It talks about happiness. It talks about emotions. So I start with discussing about emotions, okay, and negative emotions and positive emotions. Okay, I always say to my students that emotions is only discussed in general psychology. Okay, minsan hindi ko yan na-discuss kasi nakakaligtaan. In cognitive psychology, emotion is not being talked about. The topic of emotions never discussed. No?
Yes.
Rarely
think about it. Yeah.
But we are very emotional beings, diba? So, ayan. So yeah, I discuss about positive emotions and negative emotion, its impact and why it is important. And then we also talk about positive thinking, like optimism and hope. Okay? And then here, papasok din yung forgiveness, gratitude. One key theory in positive psychology, one tenet in theory in positive psychology is the Broaden and Build theory of positive emotion by Barbara Fredrickson. So that is one thing that we must talk about. Okay? The effects of the theory itself, the study itself, and what are its benefits. Okay? Then we move on, if we have time, we move on to emotional intelligence. Diba? So emotional intelligence kasi is about how we can use emotions, negative or positive, so that we can get the goals that we want. Diba? And emotional vitality is talking about how easy we can shift from one emotion to another so that we can get towards our goals. So hopefully yun yung pinaka last about emotion. Emotional intelligence nila, forgot the authors of that. But yeah, okay. Sige. So next, after the pleasant life, positivity, and vitality, that's P and V already, I talk about the engaged life. So the second tenet of positive psychology theory is actually the strength theory. Okay, so we will discuss about Peterson's and Seligman's 24 character strength, and then we'll teach them to spot, identify character strength. We'll start with the 24 character strength, and then if they know more strength that is not labeled there, it's okay. I will accept that. Like for example, commitment, wala sa 24 characters. Surrender, wala yan dun eh. So anyway, so and then we'll also talk about flow, happiness here and now, about flow, Csikszentmihalyi's flow, savoring, and then mindfulness. Okay? And then we talk about the accomplished life. Okay, so in the accomplished life, we talk about goals. No? Self-determination theory is important. What goals supports our well-being? Okay? So, and then we talk about fixed and growth mindsets ni Carol Dweck, Hope ni C.R. Snyder, and then Grit by Angela Buckworth. Yes. So yeah, so we talk about that. Okay, and the next, and when we talk about meaningful life, meaning and purpose. We discuss about psychological constructs, research about it. And then we identify factors that contribute to meaning and purpose. Sometimes sila Frankl, babalik yun, Viktor Frankl, may mga ganon. Okay. Benefit finding, may ganyan. So, and then my favorite, I always keep the relational life towards the end. No? So why relationship matters. Okay? And then we talk about attachment, because secure attachment is the foundation for flourishing relationship. Okay? We'll talk about positive romantic relationship and then positive families. Okay? And then ito yung kung may time lang, no? Implications to other disciplines like positive organizations in schools and communities. Okay. Positive neuroscience and health, and then positive economics. Okay. So yun yung mga towards the end. So sometimes kapag undergrad, nagbibigay ako ng mga tasks sa kanila na, ito yung topic. So ako yung una, yung mental health, PERMA V, and then pag start ng PERMA, divide ko na sa kanila yan.
Okay.
For them to do. And of course, manage din yan. So kapag seminar in psychology, yun, gagawa sila ng workshop style.
Yes.
Pero ano yun, have face-to-face yun dati. Okay. So next slide please. So ngayon, what does my class looks like usually? Ano yung step? So setting up or gathering, okay? So usually naka-U kami. So ngayon, Zoom meetings kami. So I'm always 30 minutes to 15 minutes early sa Zoom setup. So talaga ako, subscribe talaga ako for Zoom.
Okay.
That's gathering. And then once everybody there, I do a warm-up or a check-in. So a little scale to do like what I did earlier at the beginning. Like what type of heart are you now?
Yeah.
So, or in a scale from 1 to 10, where are you? Or in a GIF. How's your day? Diba? So, pwedeng ganyan na sila ngayon. So, and then I do a little bit of activity. Okay, made a drawing. Okay, and then they share. The good thing about Zoom is that there are breakout groups.
Yeah.
You can assign breakout groups for them. And then as a teacher, I can jump from one breakout groups to another. And then sa breakout groups lang, kailangan lang maglagay ka lang din ng mga guide questions for them to follow. No? So, ayun. So, and then we go back to the big group again. And then that's where I give my lecture and input. And then homework. Homework is usually an experiential exercise. Usually 1 week nilang gagawin yon.
Oh, not right there and then.
No, not right there and then. So 1 week. And then eventually, yun din yung maging warm up natin the next week.
Meeting. Okay.
The next meeting. So, and then eventually homework and then check out. Okay, so mga announcements and all. Okay, so next slide please. So, ano yung attitude natin? So, I'd always write this in my syllabus that, attending positive psychology is really a personal challenge. So this class is most likely to be one of the most personal challenging course that you will take in your undergraduate psychology life. It will not only require you the use of intellect, this course will ask the student to learn both in the cognitive and affective domains. Imagine teaching about, meron talaga mga students na resistant, no? First activity pa lang, spot, what were the good things that happened for this week? Tapos susulat ka ng 3 ng good things for 1 week. So meron talagang students na ayaw gawin nila yon kasi nahirapan sila. And then ngayon with my MA students, I said, okay, just take your time. Okay? But somehow, sooner or later, you'll just have to write anything para lang to keep the ball running. Okay? Sulat ka lang.
So is that an example of a homework, Neil?
Yes, that is an example. So usually that's my first activity. Because it's talking about paradigm shift, diba? You remember my first exercise is about from mental illness to from the first homework was okay for 1 week, every day or for 5 out of 7 days, you are to list 3 good things that happened.
Okay.
So that's an example, and then bring it back on. So what I do, actually, we post that in Facebook.
Oh,
we have a Facebook group, so they share. Okay, they share it there so that students can actually comment. So that's and then I will also comment it there. So I use Google Classroom. Okay, if there are for para mas maganda yung steps, no? They can follow it. So sometimes if personal na mga activities, long and then personal na masyado, I will actually put it in. They will submit it in Google Classroom. But ito mga gratitude, yung mga live, they can actually just post it in Facebook. So I will instruct them kung upload it in a Google Classroom or upload it in Facebook so that we can comment on each other's. So yan. So it's a personal challenge, diba? Kasi parang hirap talaga, no? Imagine reaching to the point of forgiveness, diba? Discussing that topic. No? So talagang hirap sa kasi nasabi na kapag Niel Kintanar positive psych, your core daw minsan it will be shaken. Ganon sila.
True.
And ako, I'm a clinical psychologist, counseling psychologist, a coach. Ganon yung, I'm like that. Okay? And the next, it will be a way of living. So this course will hopefully remove the disabling conditions in your life, but will also teach you skills that will enable you to flourish. Okay? So hopefully, since you're going to practice this one, it will change you. Okay? So parang na siyang workshop, parang siyang group therapy yung dating ng classes ko. Okay? And yun. And kaya pa naman ngayon, no, that I'm doing Zoom with my MA class. So magaling na ako mag-shift from everybody na ang tawag doon, na screen.
Yes.
Tapos ako lang nakikita yung ganyan. Or student na nakikita, speaker view lang, yung mga ganyan.
Yeah.
So, and then, so yun. So parang siyang group therapy na. Nagkikwento sila. Okay, next. So, yan. So, this is a slide that I got also online, no? And from training in Canvas, no? On how we can improve, no? So may mga, yung syllabus ko ngayon, mayroong mga asynchronous discussion. So may mga videos, yung mga YouTube links nilalagay ko doon sa Google Classroom or Canvas. And then minsan din meron kaming video conferences. So ETH yung video conferences namin ng 7:30 to 9.
Okay.
So really record ko din. So for people na hindi makaabot, nagla-live stream din ako sa Facebook, so sa group namin. So may yung iba, since malaki nga daw yung bandwidth ng Zoom so doon na lang sila sa Google, doon na lang sila sa Facebook group na stream. Okay? But of course, hindi sila masyado nakaka-share doon. Unlike kapag nag-Zoom kami. So and then meron din mga readings and text images. Okay? And then meron din kaming group chats, no? So this graph talks about if you need a high bandwidth and low bandwidth, what you use, or not now, or urgent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really a mix and match of this one. Okay. So yeah. So even before sa the pandemic, no, active ako online. So may Facebook group talaga kami. Tapos minsan kasi yung mga videos hindi ko na kayang ipapanood sa kanila during classes. So additional videos, no, in the Facebook groups. Okay? Of course, the mga Gen Zers are very active in Twitter compared to Facebook. So sometimes I use hashtag with them. So one example, yung something to be grateful about.
Yes.
So they can post it in Twitter, but use this hashtag so that I can follow, or I can see nag-trending ba, or makita ba with one hashtag, makikita mo naman yung homeworks nila.
So there really is a need to do a multi-platform social media.
Yes.
Diba?
Diba? Ano ka?
Yan. Create tayo ng Twitter account, IG account.
Right.
Maximize yan, di ba? Maximize.
Yes. Okay, so next, please. Okay, so ito yung mga different experiential exercises na ginawa ko per group, no? So some of them can be downloaded online actually. So I some of them I copied lang, no? So example, positive psychology activities. So the trick there is ito yung topic ko, gusto ko may gagawin sila. So ano kaya ang pwede nilang gawin? So maraming mga scales and measurements that you can download online. You can be creative, art therapy, meron akong well-being shield, no? So they will just draw, mga ganyan. My favorite is the positive portfolio. A positive portfolio is that they will collect pictures or mga things that make them feel happy or positive. Okay? So yun, medyo project yun. Okay? And they can do it online, they can do it as an album, they can do it as a video presentation. Ayan. Gratitude writing, gratitude visits, and gratitude night. That's all very, yung mga favorite nila. So dati, one of our last activity will be gratitude night, is that they will bring a guest we go out, eat in a restaurant, and then we will say gratitude to that someone. Okay? Wow. But kapag hindi pwedeng gratitude night, pwede ng gratitude visits, tapos kailangan may picture sila as proof. Okay. And then ngayon pwede naman mag-gratitude night sa Zoom, 'di ba? So yun lang. Pwede na yan Zoom.
Or pwede
Okay?
messenger, di ba? Like you call each other or
True,
messenger.
true. Pwede din messenger. Yes. Okay. And then, yun, yung AuthenticHappiness.com, yun yung scale dun of character strength. Okay? That's very important. Okay? So, yep.
So all these elements are found in the references that you shared. Or
Actually,
do they need to go to a website or whatnot?
Yeah, there are, yes. There, if you just Google like activities for positive psychology, yung teaching activities for teaching positive psychology, may mga ganun.
Okay.
Marami na nag-google naman yan.
Okay.
So, the key lang is that this is the topic, and then ano naman yung ano kayang pwede kong gawin. So, parang experiential talaga siya. Ano kayang homework ko para pwede nilang magawa? So, ayun, doon ako nagiging creative in thinking those things. Okay? And then, next please, and just click it. So, hindi naman yan video, but here is also a list of talks in YouTube that you can have your students watch it. No? So, Martin Seligman. The key is just to spot, know who are these psychologists, and then Google them, and then most probably they have a TEDx or a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So marami sila. So these are my favorites. No? Martin Seligman,
Mine is Angela.
Si Angela is there. For Grit.
Grit, yes.
Yeah. Si Diener, si Sonja. Mine, itong favorite ko, yung What Makes a Good Life, Robert Waldinger's. Ito yung study of Harvard study ng mga men for a long term. Sila yung nagsabi na relationship matters. Yan. Favorite, one of my favorites. And then of course sila John B. Gottman, yung mga relationship psychologists natin, Susan and James Pawelski, mga favorites ko. Okay. Daniel Kahneman, no? The economist, the psychologist, economist na.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah, so as cognitive psych. Maganda din yung talk niya about the riddle between experience versus memory. The experiencing self and then the remembering self and how it influences our well-being. Ganyan. So yan. So just Google one and it will, marami na yan sa susunod. Okay? Next, please. Okay, so actually we're ending, So one way is also a Mentimeter. So I will just ask this if I will just share. I hope this works. So what is a Mentimeter? So guys, nakita na ba?
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
What is you have to open the link, right?
Yes, you have to open the link. Go to www.menti.com and use the code 622526.
Okay.
And then it will show you the screen and it will ask you a question. So baka it will allow you to transfer.
So, audience natin, you need to go to mentimeter.com and then enter this code 622526.
Okay. So, and if you're there, you're just entered, you answer. So what makes me happy? So I'll answer food. I'll answer food.
So they can have multiple answers, Neil.
Yes, they can have multiple answers,
Okay.
and then you submit it. Okay, and then there you go. So makikita natin ang effect, no? So that's one. Okay, wow. So nag-word cloud tayo. So may painting, merong food. Okay, so ano nga yun? 6-2. So 3 people pa nag-answer, 62526. Chill time. We can be more specific also.
Yan. So again, those who are just tuning in, enter the mentimeter.com. You need to go to a new tab if you're in your laptop or in your desktop. And I think you can do that also in your phone, no? And
Right.
then enter the code 622526 and simply answer the question. Ayan.
So makikita natin dito, like, nag-word cloud na siya.
Yan.
Galing nga eh, diba? So here, yung family, okay, yun yung pinakamalaki. So it means that yun yung maraming sumagot.
Mm-hmm.
And food,
So the bigger the word, the more number of people responded into that.
Right.
So,
Having
Netflix.
sex.
Humahabol ang Netflix. Humahabol ang Netflix.
Yes, sa Netflix sumahabol siya. To
Walang
have a
online
boyfriend.
shopping.
So 19 people have answered. Natuwa naman ako nito kasi dalawa lang yung times nag-answer ko, but now it's still, people are, some of the results are there, no? So Mentimeter is free.
Yes, it is.
It is, but maximum of 2 questions lang per presentation. So pwede din kayong mag-quiz, okay? Maximum of 5 questions yata. But if you have more questions, you'll just create a new presentation, mga ganyan. No? So if you want the full though, medyo may education na payment, na minimal payment, pero medyo mahal din kasi yearly eh.
Aha.
Diba?
Humahabol
So
ang sex, Neil.
Humahabol ang sex. Wow, this is nice. So at least 30 people were able to answer it. So yun, a Mentimeter is good for training, good for online classes. For Zoom naman din kasi, meron din kasi silang mga polls. But polls is also for license,
Yeah, okay.
For license. So, ang Zoom, kapag hindi ka license, 40 minutes lang, maximum, you'll be cut off, but you can enter again, create a new meeting, and then you can start. But if you are licensed, more than, you can, ilang hours pwede. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yan, no? And then, actually, we're ending. So we're just moving on to the same code. Okay.
Okay. We're gonna do another run. Right? Okay. So go to Mentimeter again.
Yep. No, menti.com.
Menti.com, sorry.
.com.
Menti.com.
So, and then put the code.
The new code is?
Or you can just say next there. Ayan. So this is another way. Flooding lang siya. So open-ended yung Ayan. So 0.2.
So open-ended siya. Okay.
Right.
Yan.
Open-ended.
So
So
they can
this is
answer.
another way.
It does not necessarily have to be in English, okay? Pwede kayong, feel free, kahit Bisaya, kasi Bisaya ang ating speaker.
And then it moves up and down. So pwedeng ganyan na siya. So Menti. Okay? So I think you get the idea naman, no?
Yes.
You get the idea naman.
So it's good that they can try this interactive platform, and as psych teachers, no, they can also use this and make this as a small activity or short activity to engage your class.
Natutuwa ako sa mga comments. But anyway, so okay, I will stop sharing it. Thank you very much. So 22 people who. Okay, and back to the slide. And my last lang, one of the few ano ba tawag dyan? Video presentation. One of the early video presentation I show to my class is Benjamin Sanders' How to Give an A. So Benjamin Sanders is a orchestra
conductor,
and also a teacher. So teachers sa music, and he said there that my job is to awaken possibility in other people. If their eyes are shining, you know you're doing it. If you're not shining, you get to ask this question: who am I being that my children or my students' eyes are not shining? So the idea there is really our job as positive psychology teacher is really to talk about possibility, to spot that strength in people, to make their eyes shine. And when we talk about, if we talk about their dreams, their hopes, their eyes will actually shine. Okay. So next slide, please. So thank you very much. You get to be in touch with me sa nsmkintanar@usc.edu.ph. You can download the PPT in PDF here. So you can take a picture. Okay.
Yan. Screenshot nyo na po. So you can access. Ay, alisin na yung baka yan. So that's the access for the PowerPoint this afternoon. So you can get back to them and even have them incorporated in your classes in the first semester. Ayan. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yay! Thank you, Niel. I love it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Niel. Maraming salamat. Naka-off-shoulder pa rin ako. Kala nyo,
We're showing some skin because of positive psychology.
Yes, because I want to maximize.
Sa Tagalog ay?
Ducks. Mapadax. Okay. Well, thank you, Niel, ha. Maraming salamat. Meron lang tayong, if you're okay lang, just to answer some questions.
Yes.
From Dennis Bayen, sabi niya, what tips or resources or other resources siguro can you recommend for junior high school, if I'm correct? Like me, who teach values education. How can we integrate positive psychology in junior high? Baka you might have.
So, I think the best component, sa section ng PERMA V, when we talk about the values, I think the best section there would be engagement, yung character strength. So essentially, character strength are the values that we have. So there's this character strength and virtue na libro by Martin Seligman and Christopher Peterson. Marami ka na magagawa doon. And then maganda din yung identifying their character strength, identifying the values that the student would have. Okay? Maganda sa libro na yon is that, if example, the value or the strength is about self-regulation, they define what it is. They will give you other sources. So ano yung mga current studies? So 24 character strength, yun. Sometimes it
dahil ba to, Niel, kasi it's of their age as junior high school students, kailangan nilang to begin in that topic or to have that as a topic?
Because I think it's because sinabi nila value specific. Okay? But pwede naman, if you really want to create a program, pwede naman ang PERMA V i-curtail natin to junior high school students. So, diba? Talking about mental health, talking about Emotions,
Yeah.
yung mga controlling emotions, ganyan. So, emotion regulation yon. So importante din.
Kanina may question or may input ata, yung we were talking about emotions, and then rarely emotions, the topic of emotion is discussed in other areas, no? Pero daw sa biology of emotional behavior, included siya in biopsych.
Right. Pero iba pa din yun, no? Yung biological behavior. I'm talking more about identifying emotions, no? So,
Yes.
kasama doon yung micro-expressions.
True.
Yung kapag gaganyan lang, disgust yan. Kapag gaganyan, sadness yan, no? So, identifying those, I discuss about that. Yung mga different phases natin. No? Ano yung fake smile? Ano yung hindi? So, tsaka ano yung antecedents? Bakit tayo, importante yung identifying antecedents for that emotion. It's like, why do we feel anger? It's because we felt that we've been stepped upon. So ano yung future behavior nun? So if we feel anger, we want to fight back. Why do we feel sadness? It's because it's saying conserve energy. So what do we do? So you take a rest, you take a pause. That's what yung behavioral intention. So importante yung ganun na identification from the what triggers it to how you feel, ano yung mga physiological reaction, yung perspiration, but meron din yung overt behavior and behavioral intention.
Right. Okay, kanina may nabanggit about biological or biopsych. May isang medyo challenging din na question, parang how can you integrate PERMA V, for example, in history? Kasi social science teacher daw siya. So how do you think, or what can you suggest siguro, how does PERMA V or positive psychology be related?
Right. I'm not sure if it's really PERMA V, but the idea of positive psychology is really about paradigm shifts, and it's a revolution, diba? Parang ito yung mainstream na idea. So let's look at the other one. So parang siyang scientific revolution ba? So it's really about a paradigm shift, no? So I think we will, as a history teacher, let's look at the different how it changes. The paradigm shifts from one part of the history. So sa bago naman yung mga changes na yun.
Correct.
So hindi
So, parang
ba talaga siya?
Oo. So kunwari parang Great Depression to a more golden era of economics, for example.
Right.
Or
Bonggang Great Depression, I love it.
Literal siya Great Depression. Hindi ba? Or let's say during the 80s or the 90s, parang, or perhaps you can also talk about how these emotions have evolved or have been talked about. For example, when we talk about joy or sadness, di ba? Historically or in the past, di ba, laging males should be more reserved in terms of expressing their emotions, for example. So perhaps you can integrate it in that particular way of how to discuss emotions and
Right. So for example, if it's really topic, what is always the other side of that coin? We also look at that. For example, if you're talking about let's say martial law. Okay?
Yes.
So of course we will talk about the violence and the abuses that happens. You can talk about that. You can also talk about the strength of people.
That's right.
Yes.
Who went into revolution, who fought for us. So ano yung mga character strength nun? What does courage mean?
That's right.
Resilience.
Time. Diba? So,
being hopeful, being optimistic.
Yes. Right. So pwedeng ganun ang attack.
Oo. I think magandang ano din yun. And meron, kasi kanina parang Neil was saying something about values education is only being taught sa mga sa mga ano ba to? Basic education.
Yeah, basic
But
education.
I think one of the things, because of the new curriculum, is that we have what we call understanding the self. No? Perhaps, I'm not sure if kanino kasi understanding the self is multidisciplinary. So I'm not sure how other departments or other schools have devoted or who teaches this. But some schools kasi, if I remember correctly, parang a few years ago, we had this learning session with Dr. Ofreneo to teach about understanding the self. And I can't help but see kasi yun nga, yung emotion regulation, yung, looking at positive emotions and stuff. So perhaps for those, especially who are the psychology programs who have or are teaching understanding the self, mas madali itong i-integrate, or it would be
yes, true.
Integrating positive psychology there. But at the same time, siguro yung tanong ko, Neil, if you were ba to, kasi you mentioned something about board exam subjects, no? And since this is not a board exam subject ba, how do you now integrate ba? Or what topics, kung tatanungin lang kita, what topics kaya would be good for, let's say, for theories of personality, for abnormal? What would you be recommending? At least yung apat, for example. Para na-integrate pa rin natin yung positive side in those board exam subjects.
Okay. Kung sa theories of personality naman, di ba, towards the end, diba, positive psychology really started as the humanist psychology, but the problem with the humanistic approach is that they failed the science.
Right.
Right. So they fail in the science. So that's what Martin Seligman was doing. And then si Albert, efficacy theory is part of positive psychology.
Yes.
So bandura yan, di ba? So yun. So pwede naman if we teach personality as a history course kasi.
Yeah.
So if we change it into to more of schools of thoughts, okay, maybe we can incorporate positive psychology frequently. Because, for example, we teach psychodynamic approach. Okay, although we start with Freud, but if you look at that psychodynamic approach, attachment theory is actually very psychodynamic approach, and that is the current psychodynamic approach. So, and positive psychology is saying that secure attachment is the basis for flourishing relationships. So, if we can shift that into that way, then maybe mas kasi kung historical tayo, so begin tayo kay Freud, syempre last na yung positive psychology in terms of time. Right? Minsan din natin naaabot yun. Diba? So, yun lang yung, that's how I teach kasi advanced personality, no? Hindi na siya historical. So, and so in terms of abnormal psychology, of course, mental illnesses would always come to mental health. No? So, predicting ano yung mga factors, mga factors that will not yield to a mental disorder, yield to depression. Diba? Protective factors. I was looking for that. Diba? Focus on the protective factors. Diba? So, what was the other one? Assessment. Right. So assessment, then incorporate more tools in assessment that measures positive development, that measures strength. Now, when I usually do my assessment with kids and with clients, kasama ang character strength. Minsan, sabihin ko, meron akong client na ADHD or so makita ko yun, ito yung mga negative side. Diba? Gulo siya, ganyan. Kulang makita yung other side. What is he good at? No?
Yeah.
So I have the character strength to meron mga adaptation ng mga skills that are also good. So you'll always have the other side. That's part of the assessment na hindi lang yung mental illnesses but what is working for this person.
Right.
And then,
IO.
marami sa IO, di ba? Yung mga positive organizational behaviors. So, mga leadership, mga sense of purpose, no?
Organizational commitment.
Organizational commitment, meron yung mga ganyan. So, marami actually sa IO.
Right. So I guess what we're trying to point out here is that it should be deliberate. No,
Yeah.
when we integrate positive psychology, there's a deliberate way of trying to talaga to integrate these topics, these concepts. It doesn't have to be a standalone course.
Yes.
These can be integrated to have a better, let's say, more well-rounded approach, no, in understanding human beings as well.
Kasi positive psychology naman kasi it's a lens of looking at the organization or looking at this person, a lens of looking at the school. So it's a lens. No? So it's a commitment to look at this, to use this lens also.
Right. Okay. O, may isa pang question daw from our former president.
Hello, Dr.
Yourself, always looking happy and full of energy. Nakakapagod kaya ang online.
Meron akong chocolate na
Sugar high.
Sugar, yes.
It's a way of living, just.
And just like what we do, it's a deliberate then, no? Of trying to be positive, trying to rest, sabi nga ni Niel kanina, take a pause, rest. Because that's how we keep on fueling up ourselves. No?
Right.
I think you mentioned kanina, Niel, that there were TED Talks. I know that you had a TED Talk.
Yeah, dapat promote mo yung TED Talk mo. Hindi lang yung mga foreign TED Talk. Dapat yung sa'yo.
Ayaw mo ba silang i-invite sa ano?
Type mo nga link. Type mo yung link para ilagay natin dyan sa baba.
Let's go to the part-time psychologist, full-time lover. That's the
Ayan. Search
Yeah.
nyo, part-time psychologist, full-time lover.
full-time lover.
Ayun.
And that's
But I want to create another TED Talk. So,
why not? TED Talk ka naman.
Ay, nako.
TED Talk X, PAPSIG.
hindi ko na sinishare yun.
Ay, nako. Maraming salamat, Neil.
Thank you, Bear.
Nag-enjoy kami ngayon.
And to the audience, yes, thank you.
Yes, oo. Wait lang, before we let you go and before we formally say goodbye to our fans, there are some things lang that Monique would like to remind everyone. Monique?
Okay, sure. Go ahead. On July 17, don't forget, we'll see you again because we're going to talk about practicum in psychology with Dr. Mark Distor and Professor Jay Yakat. That's on Friday, the same time, 2 p.m. And then on July 20th, we are going to discuss and learn about abnormal psychology with Dr. Eric Reyes from the PAP board, of course. And on July 23, same time, 2 to 4 p.m., we're going to talk about experimental psychology with Professor Junix de los Santos of University of Baguio. And on the 24th, that's the following day, 2 to 4 p.m., we're going to talk about group dynamics with Professor Rian Portugues, your millennial psychologist. And on the 25th, we are going to talk about biological psychology. This is one of the most requested fields, no? So Professor Michelle Valbuena will facilitate learning for us. She's from the University of Silliman. And then on the 28th, we are going to talk about social psychology. Medyo ito yung heavy na discussion with Professor Diwa and Professor Darren Dumao in partnership with the Social Psychology Division. And on the 29th, we are going to talk about Introduction of Psychology with Professor Pat Datul Ramirez and Professor Ryan Torrejos. And last will be on July 31, How to Virtually Teach Psychology the OBE Way by yours truly.
Yes, maraming salamat. Ang dami-dami nating projects.
I know, right?
Yeah. So, Neil, baka you have also another TED
Yeah.
Talk or movie, guesting,
This is a
commercial.
great platform to promote your teleserye, your
Yeah.
commercial.
Single po ako. Charot!
Ako rin po.
Sige na, single po silang dalawa.
Sige po. So, open po for applications. Pinakita naman na po natin yung yung contact details si Sir Neil. Maraming salamat. Ay, nako. Again, thank you to our PAP family.
you.
For
Thank
thank
you.
you, Neil. Thank you to the University of San Carlos for lending us Professor Kintanar. We would also like to thank our viewers. Again, you can follow the replays of this episode on our YouTube account. Follow us on our social media platforms at TeachPsychPAP. And of course, we're here on Facebook. And you can also reach us at Teaching Psych, ano ba yung email natin? Nakalimutan ko. Ano ulit yung sa'yo? Ano natin? Email.
Basta nandun na sa Facebook page.
Oo, nasa Facebook page. So, again, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon, and we hope that you can still join us on Friday and on the next episodes that we will have. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you
Thank
again.
you. Have a good day. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.